So you want to really get under the hood of India's foreign policy today. Understand what's driving it.
Yeah, beyond just the daily headlines.
Exactly. And to do that, we think it's crucial to understand the person really steering the ship right now. India's Minister of External Affairs, Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar.
Right. And it's quite a story when you piece it together. We've got the basic biofacts, from places like Wikipedia, Times of India, the timeline.
Hmm.
But what's really interesting is digging into his own thinking, his books. We looked at insights on those from Wikipedia and the Indian Express as well.
Yeah, that's the plan. Our mission here is to give you a solid feel for the person, his journey, the key moments, and importantly, the ideas he puts forward himself. Go beyond just the resume.
It's kind of about understanding the thinking behind the policy, isn't it?
Precisely. So let's start at the beginning. He was born in New Delhi, January 55.
And right away, you hit something significant. His father, K. Subramaniam.
A giant in Indian strategic analysis. Yeah.
You have to assume that growing up around that kind of thinking, it must have shaped his worldview from very early on.
Oh, absolutely. Like learning the language of international relations almost by osmosis. Probably gave him a unique lens on, power, national interest, all that stuff.
Definitely. He was raised in a Tamil Brahmin family, went to the Air Force School there in Delhi.
And his academic path is pretty interesting, too. Started with a bachelor's in chemistry, actually, from St. Stephen's College.
Which is maybe not the most obvious start for a top diplomat.
Right. But then he pivots, MA in political science, and then really digs deep with an MPhil and PhD in international relations from JNU.
Focusing specifically on nuclear diplomacy.
Exactly. So you see this deliberate funneling of interest towards the real high-stakes global security issues.
Yeah, it's a fascinating progression from, the precision of chemistry to the complexities of poli-sci and then landing on nuclear strategy. It suggests a mind that likes analytical rigor but also understands the nuances of, human interaction on a global scale.
And then comes this incredibly long diplomatic career. He joined the Indian Foreign Service, the IFS, in 1977.
Wow, 77. So that's, over 40 years?
All the way to 2018 in the service.
Yeah.
41 years. Think about the sheer amount of change he's seen, the history he's lived through from inside the system.
It's not just reading about it in books. He was there, involved, shaping India's response through massive global shifts. The institutional memory alone must be incredible.
For sure. And within that career, some really key postings. Ambassador to the Czech Republic, 2001 to 2004.
Right, sort of post-Soviet era, Central Europe finding its feet.
Yeah, building those connections, promoting India's interest as that region was evolving, laying groundwork.
And probably learning a lot about nations going through big transitions, right? A theme that keeps popping up.
Good point. Then High Commissioner to Singapore, 07 to 09. This one seems really hands-on. Pushing through the CACA, the economic agreement.
And boosting defense cooperation, too.
Exactly. So tangible results. Not just diplomatic talk, but actual economic and security stuff happening.
Singapore is such a key hub, economically and strategically. Making that CECA work shows real skill in negotiation, building those practical partnerships.
Okay, then the big one. Ambassador to China. 2009 to 2013.
Yeah, that's a posting,
Yeah.
given the complexities.
Understatement. Managing the border issues, trying to push economic ties, cultural stuff, all while navigating that really delicate, often tense relationship. Must have been a constant balancing act.
Absolutely. You need such a deep grasp of history, current geopolitics, just subtle diplomacy. Being in Beijing then gave him invaluable firsthand insight into China's thinking, its ambitions, crucial knowledge for India.
No doubt. And straight from there, pretty much ambassador to the U.S. 2013 to 2015.
Another critical relationship. And that period included the Devyani Khobrigade incident.
Right. That was a really tricky, sensitive time. Put a major strain on things.
Definitely. Managing that fallout, steering the relationship through that crisis, it really highlights his ability to handle intense pressure, protect a vital partnership while navigating, diplomatic minefields.
Shows real diplomatic skill under fire.
He clearly understood the sensitivities on both sides.
So all this experience builds up, and then in 2015, he reaches the absolute top of the diplomatic ladder, Foreign Secretary of India.
The administrative head of the entire Foreign Service.
Yeah, and we understand he was right at the heart of shaping policy then, including the big one, the Indo-U.S. Civil Nuclear Agreement negotiations.
That was a landmark deal. Hugely significant. His involvement there speaks volumes about his strategic thinking and his ability to handle these incredibly complex, high-stakes international negotiations. It had massive implications for India's energy, its global standing.
Absolutely. So he finishes this incredibly distinguished run in the IFS, retires in 2018, and then takes a slight detour.
Ah, yes, the Tata Sons role. President of Global Corporate Affairs.
Brief, but interesting, right? A little peek into the corporate world, global business strategy.
Yeah, it suggests he sees that link between, economic clout and foreign policy. Even a short time there would offer a different angle on India's global interactions.
Which brings us pretty much up to date, politically. May 2019, he's appointed Minister of External Affairs.
And that was historic in itself, wasn't it? The first former foreign secretary to actually become the external affairs minister.
Exactly. That continuity, that depth of direct experience brought straight into the cabinet-level political role. It's quite unique.
It really is. It blends the deep bureaucratic understanding with the political leadership needed to set the agenda.
Then in July 2019, he's elected to the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of parliament from Gujarat. He's affiliated with the BJP, the governing party.
And he's clearly a central figure in articulating and driving India's foreign policy under Prime Minister Modi. You can see how his decades of diplomatic experience directly inform that political role now.
That deep understanding of global dynamics, India's interests, it's all being applied on the political stage.
Right, and we can actually get a glimpse into that thinking through his books.
Yeah, let's talk about those. First, The India Way. Strategies for an Uncertain World from 2020.
The title says a lot, doesn't it? Uncertain world.
It does. It seems to be about laying out India's strategic approach in a world that's, well, messy, multipolar, competitive.
He really dives into the kind of historical and geopolitical currents shaping how India sees the world and its place in it. It's like a framework for understanding India's strategic culture.
And then the more recent one, Why Farad Matters, came out in 2024.
Again, a very direct title. This one feels like it's building on the first, really emphasizing India's growing influence, its potential.
Yeah, arguing for India's significance on the global stage, its ability to contribute maybe